What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. With SOD or Season of Discovery approaching very soon, we need to be thinking about tier lists for healers at level 25 for our first raid, right? Level 25 is going to be our first end game. We have a couple of new healing things that have entered the game here, and we need to talk about what healers are going to be the strongest at level 25. So without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so first up, let's talk about priests, right? So for priests, what we're going to be doing is putting our build together here, and then we're going to be going over our runes that we would use as well, and then ranking it right here in the tier list. So let's start out by obviously going holy. We're going to be going into our holy tree. We have some points to spend here. So what we're going to be doing is probably throwing 3 points into renew, and then maybe 2 points into holy specialization for the crit, but we could put those into healing focus. We're not sure how this raid works yet. If there's a lot of raid-wide damage going out and you're being interrupted, you might want to put those 2 points into here, but for now, let's put them into here. Spell warding reduces all spell damage taken by 2%, reduces the cast time of your smite, holy fire, healing, greater heal spells by 0.5 if we put 5 points there, so we're going to put 5 points in divine fury. Holy nova, which is massive. After being struck by a melee or ranged critical hit, heal 8%. That's blessed recovery. That would be more for like PvP. Inspiration increases your target's armor by 8% for 15 seconds after getting a critical effect from flesh heal, heal, greater heal, or prayer of healing. So I think here we have 6 points left to spend, right? We're going to put 1 point in Holy Nova because it's just so good. Inspiration, we're going to put 3 points there. I say we throw 1 more point into Holy Spec, and we have 1 point to spend here. And then for our last point, I would say that we're putting it in Improved Healing to reduce the mana cost of our Lesser Heal, Heal, and Greater Heal spell by 5%. So that would be level 25. This would be my Holy Priest build, and let's head on down to the runes. So for chest, we have Serendipity. Healing and Flash Heal reduces the cast time of your next Lesser Heal, Heal, Greater Heal, or Prayer of Healing by 20% for 20 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. That's pretty insane. We have Strength of Soul, Lesser Heal, Heal, Greater Heal, and Flash Heal. Reduce the remaining duration of Weakened Soul on targets they heal by 4 seconds. And Weakened Soul is the debuff that gets put on a target when you cast Power Word Shield on them. So you can kind of use either one of these depending on what you're doing. I would say that we go with Serendipity just for the purposes of this build, but you can use Strength of Soul as well. Kind of would have to see how the raid plays out. And then for the next slot here, for our hand engraving, we have Circle of Healing. Heals all target players, party members within 15 yards of target player. It's just a nice AoE heal. Or we have Penance. Launch a volley of holy light at a target, causing holy damage or healing. So again, depending on what you're doing, if you're on tank healing duty, you're going to want to use Penance. If you're on raid healing, you're going to want to use Circle of Healing. So let's go with Circle of Healing for the purposes of this video. And then for legs, we most likely here, we're going to use either Prayer of Mending or Power Word Barrier. So let's look at Power Word Barrier. Summons a holy barrier to protect all party members at the target location for 10 seconds, reducing all damage taken by 25% and preventing damage from delaying spell casting. That's a pretty big one. Prayer of Mending places a spell on the target that heals them for 150 the next time they take damage or receive healing. When the heal occurs, Prayer of Mending jumps to a party member. Okay, so I would say we go with Prayer of Mending here, depending on what you're doing. Power Word Barrier, I mean, both of these are really good, but we're going to go with Prayer of Mending. And then we're going to take Priests, and I think that they are going to be absolutely S tier. So let's move on to Druids. All right, so for Druids, we're obviously going to be going into the Restoration tree here. We could take Furor, gives you 20% chance to gain 10 Rage when you shift into Bear, or Energy when you shift into Cat. We're not taking that. We're going to take Improved Mark of the Wild to make our buff 35% stronger. And then what we're going to need to do here is most likely the move is to go 5 points into Improved Healing Touch to reduce the cast time by 0.5 seconds. And then we want to... We have 6 points left to use. We obviously want to take Reflection. 15% of our mana regeneration will continue while casting, which is really nice. So we're going to put all those points in there. And then throw some points in Subtlety to reduce our threats so we don't pull aggro from healing. We'll put 2 points into that, so that's 8% reduced threat. And then I would put 1 point into Rejuvenation to increase our Rejuvenation's effectiveness by 5%. And now let's move on to the chest runes. Okay, so for the chest runes here, we have 2 ways that you can kind of play this out. We can take Fury of Storm Rage, which reduces the mana cost of Wrath by 100%, and each time you deal damage with Wrath, you have a 12% chance for your next cast of Healing Touch within 15 seconds to be instant. So this would be really good if you're kind of trying to do like a hybrid, like DPS to heal type of build, which could be really fun to play. And then we have Living Seed. When you critically heal your target with any healing spell you have, planted a Living Seed on the target for 30% of the amount healed. The Living Seed will bloom when the target is next attacked. So that's also another really good one there. I would imagine that if you're on tank healing in the raid at level 25, you're going to want to take Living Seed. If your tanks are being covered by like a Priest or a Pally or something like that, then you can go with Fury of Storm Rage and kind of play this like hybrid damage to healing type of spec. So we're going to take Living Seed just for the purposes of this video. Let's move on to the hands. So for hands here, there's one clear winner, Wild Growth. Heal all of the target's player's party members within 15 yards of target player for 156 over 7 seconds. The amount healed is applied quickly at first and then slows down as Wild Growth reaches its full duration. A nice AoE heal. And then for our legs, our only option here to go for healing, straight healing, is going to be Life Bloom, which heals the target 45 over 7 seconds. We can stack this up to 3 times, and when Life Bloom completes its duration or it's dispelled, it'll instantly heal them. So this would be the build for a level 25 Resto Druid healer, raiding Black Fathom Deeps. So for Druids, I think Druids belong in S tier. This is really strong. They have some serious AoE healing. And even here with the Fury of Storm, you really don't even need Living Seed. Like it's just more solid for like tank healing. But I mean, Fury of Storm Rage, this is really cool that you can kind of DPS. I mean, think about being level 25, right? Your healer DPSing makes a big difference. So having that to kind of give you instant healing touches would be really, really nice. Pretty much would be for tank healing as well when you really think about it, because you're not casting too many healing touches on raid. So you can kind of swap these out. It depends how this raid plays out. So yeah, Druids, in my opinion, S tier. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. But let's move on to Paladin. For Paladin, we're obviously going into the Holy Tree. We're going to take Divine Intellect to increase our mana by 10%, to increase our intellect by 10%. And then we are going to take Spiritual Focus, which will give us 70% chance to not lose cast time if we get hit. Not sure how much we're going to be getting hit. I don't know much about this raid yet. We haven't really seen it except for the public playtest at BlizzCon itself. Wasn't really sure if healers were taking much damage there, but it can't hurt to have this. I mean, improved Seal of Righteousness, unless you're DPSing and healing at the same time, it's really going to do nothing for us. So Spiritual Focus is probably the way to go here. And we have 6 points left to use. So we're going to take Healing Light, 3 points into that, 100%. We want that 12% increase on Flash of Light and Holy Light. And then we can either take... I say we go with Lay on Hands, maybe? Yeah, we're going to go with Improved Lay on Hands. And then we have 1 point left to spend. And what we're going to do here is we could take Illumination, which would give us a 20% chance to gain mana equal to the base cost of the spell after we crit with a Flash Heal or a Holy Light. Or we go with the steady 10% increased effective Blessing of Wisdom. I don't know how much you're going to be critting with heals at level 25 unless the new gear has a ton of crit on it. So for this build, we're going to go with the Blessing of Wisdom to kind of help us conserve mana. And let's check out our runes. Okay, so for our runes here, we're most likely going to be going with Horn of Lordaeron. Aegis is a tanking rune. Divine Storm is a DPS rune. I mean, you could argue that this is like Fury of Storm Rage, and you're healing with a two-hander, and you're kind of in there meleeing. And you could take Divine Storm because Divine Storm will also heal people for 25% of the damage that it causes. So it'll kind of AoE heal, and then you can kind of couple that with, instead of taking Spiritual Focus, you can take Improved Seal of Righteousness to be doing some DPS while healing. But for just straight healer stuff, we're going to go with Horn of Lordaeron. Horn of Lordaeron is going to give our raid or party, strength and agility, 17 strength and agility, which is pretty big. So let's move on to the hand runes. Obviously here we're going to be taking Beacon of Light. Those of you who have played Wrath and know how strong Beacon of Light actually is, this is an amazing healing ability. The target becomes a beacon of light to all members of your party or raid within 60 yards. Any heals you cast on party or raid members will also heal the beacon target for 100% of the amount healed. Only one target can be a beacon at a time. So this is just a clear no-brainer winning talent right there. And then for legs, most likely here, we're going to be taking DSAC. We could argue that taking Inspiration Exemplar is good. Not sure how much fear and sleep is going on in Black Fathom Deeps, but if there's a lot, this would be a good talent. But DSAC is just too strong. 30% of all damage taken by party members within 30 yards is redirected to you. Damage which reduces the paladin below 20% health will break the effect and grant the paladin 10% increased damage and healing for 10 seconds. So this is a nice big cooldown to pop. So this would be my level 25, BIS Paladin Healer for BFD. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And I would take Paladins, and I would put them probably up in S tier. It seems like they're going to be extremely strong. But let's move on to the Shaman. Okay, the Shaman. Shaman got a lot of love in Season of Discovery. So we're going to obviously be going into the Restoration tree. We have two really good choices up top here. We could either reduce the cast time of our healing wave by 0.5 or reduce mana by 5%. So we're going to go with the reduced cast time. And if we're having mana issues, remember, we can always come back and just take Tidal Focus instead. And what we're going to do here is take Ancestral Healing to increase our target's armor value by 25% for 15 seconds after we get a crit with our healing spells. And then here, I wouldn't take Improved Reincarnation. Reduce the mana cost of your totems. I don't know. I honestly think we would go with Tidal Focus. 2 points in Tidal Focus to reduce our healing spells by 2% mana. And then come down here. And we're going to be probably putting a point in... Actually, you know what? Our healing spells... putting totems down is actually very mana heavy. So I'm kind of rethinking this. I say we go 2 points in Totemic Focus to reduce our mana cost of totems by 10%. And then we're going to put 1 point in Totemic Mastery to increase the yards. Since it's going to be, we're going to be in a raid at level 25, we want to be able to move around and still be benefited by these totems. Healing Grace, reduce the threat generated by your healing spells by 5%. We're going to put 3 points into that. And now we have 2 points left to spend. And I say we use them on our... this is where we put 2 points into Tidal Focus. So for me, this would be my spec as a level 25 Shaman Healer. And let's move on to the chest rune. So for our chest rune here, clear winner is going to be Healing Rain. Selects an area 15 yards around a target player and heals all of the target player's party members within that area for 20 seconds. We don't know for how much, it doesn't say, but we're going to take Healing Rain because it's the only healing chest rune and it's an AoE heal. For our hand rune, here we're obviously going to take Water Shield. The caster is surrounded by 3 globes of water, granting 1% of your maximum mana per 5 seconds. When a spell... melee or ranged attack hits the caster, 4% of your mana is restored. Everyone knows how Water Shield works for the most part. It's a nice mana regen shield. So you're going to kind of be putting Water Shield on yourself. And then for legs, right here, all we're going to be worried about here is taking Earth Shield. However, they do have a talent similar to Fury of Storm Rage or the Paladin's Divine Storm. We could take Ancestral Guidance for the next 10 seconds when you pop this ability. 25% of your damage is converted to healing on up to 3 nearby party. And 100% of your healing is converted to damage on your most recent Flame Shock. So this could be like a nice hybrid deal damage to heal type ability. But for the purposes of this video, Earth Shield is just a huge shield to put on targets that you're healing. It protects the target with an earthen shield, reducing casting or channeling time lost when damaged by 30%, causing attacks to heal the target by 100. So this is huge. It has three charges. You're going to kind of be putting this back up on your tanks every time that it's off. So this would be my level 25 Shaman healer build for Black Fathom Deeps. And I'm going to take Shamans, and I'm going to put them in A tier. They're definitely strong, but Priest, Druid, Paladin just seems way too strong compared to Shamans. But Shamans will definitely be viable and strong healers. They may even be S tier, but I just don't know how this raid works yet. So for me, I'm putting them top of A tier. And then last but not least, we have mages, right? Mages can now heal. So let's rank how mage healing is going to go. Before we do our talent build for mages, let's put on our runes, right? So we have regeneration for our chest rune. Heals the target for 485 health over 3 seconds and applies temporal beacon for 30 seconds. Reduces the subject's space-time records the subject's space-time position. 100% of all arcane damage done by the caster will be converted to chronomantic healing and divided among the caster's current temporal beacon targets. Okay. So we're going to take regeneration, obviously, because we're talking about healing. So we're going to place that on a target, and then we have to deal arcane damage to... So it's going to do an initial heal over 3 seconds of 485, right? And it's going to place a temporal beacon on them, and then when we do arcane damage, it'll heal them even more. So that's pretty good. We're going to go down to hands, right? And obviously, what I'm thinking is that we want to take Arcane Blast, because if we're going healer, we want to be able to deal arcane damage, right? Blast the target with energy, dealing 190 to 221 arcane damage. Each time you cast Arcane Blast, the damage and healing of all arcane spells is increased by 15%, and the mana cost is also increased. Effect stacks up to 4 times. So we're going to take Arcane Blast, and then for legs, here we're met with 2 choices, right? We could take Arcane Surge, which is a massive arcane damaging ability. Unleash all of your remaining mana in a surge of energy focused on a target, dealing 95 to 111 arcane damage, increased by 300% based on your mana remaining. But this will dump your mana. So this would be more of like a hybrid, like you're not one of the healers, you're like a third healer in the 10-man, and you're kind of trying to heal and deal damage. But for straight damage, we're going to obviously go with Mass Regeneration. Heals all target players' party members within 15 yards of the player for 262 over 3 seconds, and it does the same thing as regular regeneration. So you're going to hit Mass Regeneration, and then you're going to want to deal arcane damage to kind of pop that temporal beacon and heal the raid or party. So let's go with Mass Regeneration. And then now, this is why I wanted to do the runes first, to show you guys that we need arcane damage for this to work as a healer. So then obviously what we're going to do is we're going to go into our arcane tree, right? We're going to be taking probably 2 points into arcane subtlety and 3 points into arcane focus, which will give us basically 4% hit with arcane spells, which is really nice. Or 3 points, sorry, 6% hit with arcane spells, which is really nice. And then we want to go into Arcane Concentration. Gives you a 2% chance to enter a clear casting state after any damaging spell hits a target. Which clear casting, if you don't know, reduces the mana cost of our next spell by 100%. So we're going to put 5 points into that. We have 6 points left to spend. So for this, we're also going to be going into Improved Arcane Explosion for that nice AoE damage. So imagine popping Mass Regeneration and then running into a pack of mobs and AoEing. But if we're running into a pack of mobs and AoEing, we're also going to want Arcane Resilience to increase our armor by 50% of our intellect. And we do need to spend 1 more point to get down to this next tree. So we're going to pop 1 more point. Into Arcane Focus. And then we have 1 point left to spend, so we can get Improved Counterspell, which can give us a 50% chance for it to be a Silence. We can get Improved Mana Shield, which we shouldn't really be taking that much damage as a healer. And I think Arcane Meditation is going to be the play here. Allows 5% of your mana regeneration to continue while casting. So this would be my build if I was going for a mage healer build, you know, at level 25 for Black Fathom Deeps. But the thing is here that, you know, this isn't a straight up healer. You're still dealing damage, really. The only real heals you have is that initial cast of Mass Regeneration or Regeneration. So, you know, this would have to be, and I'm not sure if these share the same cooldown, and if they do, it doesn't really make sense to take both. So you'd maybe want to switch out regeneration for enlightenment. You deal 10% more damage while you have more than 70% mana, while below 30% mana, 10% of your mana regeneration continues while casting. So I'd argue that maybe that's even the better spell, because the more damage you do, the more healing you'll do. And then if you drop below 30% mana, you're going to be gaining mana back. So, you know, I'd argue that that's even better. If regeneration and mass regeneration share cooldown, this is better. If they don't, enlightenment is better. So this would be my build for mage healing, and I would rank mages right under shamans in A tier. It's going to be really solid, but it's definitely more of a, you know, hybrid DPS to heal type of build. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to play it myself and try it out. Hopefully they add dual spec to SOD, because that would make this a lot easier, a lot more fun. You don't have to respec completely every time, but this looks like it would be pretty solid as like a third healer, or even if you can get by with one of these like beefy healers, like a priest, druid, paladin, main healing, and then you have an arcane mage, you know, kind of blast healing, like dealing a ton of damage and healing the entire raid at the same time. This might be pretty useful and would be really useful in speed clearing. So yeah, that's where I would rank mage, right under shaman in A tier. Yeah, but that's it, guys. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It does help me out a lot. And drop some comments down below. Let me know what you think of this. You know, I'm just kind of speculating here. I haven't played the raid myself, so drop some comments down below. And if you have nothing to say at all, drop an emoji. It helps me out with the algorithm. And if you guys want to hang out with me live, I do stream on Twitch Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time at twitch.tv/hammerdance. I'll drop a link to that in the description below this video. And subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next time I post a video. I'm posting a ton of videos on SOD. I've been waiting for this for a long time, so I'll be covering this until it comes out, and then even after it comes out, I'll be pumping out content because I'm super excited to play Season of Discovery. But anyways, guys, that's all for me. Thank you so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.